What if I told you that the same $100,000 could either become $6.4 million or pay you $28,000 every single month? Same starting amount, same time frame, completely different outcomes. And the crazy part? Most investors never even realize they're making this choice. They just throw money into funds and hope it works out. But today, I'm breaking down the math behind both paths, showing you exactly how each one compounds and revealing which strategy might actually be costing you millions. Let's dive in. The core problem. Here's what nobody talks about. Before you invest a single dollar, you need to answer one brutally honest question. What do I actually want this money to do? Do you want to build the biggest pile of wealth possible, or do you want reliable cash hitting your account every month? Most people skip this entirely. They pick a popular fund, set up automatic contributions, and assume everything will magically align later. But here's the reality. Growth and income are fundamentally different strategies, and choosing the wrong one doesn't just cost you returns, it can make you quit investing altogether when markets get choppy. So in this video, I'm comparing two completely different approaches using real Fidelity index funds and SCHD. We'll run the numbers on the same $100,000 investment, and I'll show you how one path prioritizes building massive wealth, while the other prioritizes generating serious monthly income. Finding the right comparison. Now, before I compare anything to SCHD, I wanted to make absolutely sure I wasn't cherry-picking some random Fidelity fund just because it fit my narrative. Fidelity manages several major index funds, and they definitely don't all behave the same way. If the real goal is understanding where income and growth actually intersect, you've got to filter these intentionally. So I analyzed 5 well-known Fidelity funds, not to crown a winner, but to understand what role each one serves and which type of investor it's actually built for. Fidelity 500 Index Fund, FXAIX, is your classic growth machine. It tracks the 500 largest U.S. companies, and its entire job is simple: grow over time. Sure, it pays dividends, but income is clearly not the focus here. You're banking on price appreciation. Fidelity's Zero Total Market Index Fund, FZROX, casts a wider net. Instead of just large caps, it owns a slice of everything. That broad market exposure is powerful, but income is still just a side effect, not the main strategy. Fidelity's Zero Large Cap Index Fund, FNILX, looks different on the surface, but in practice, it behaves almost identically to FXAIX. Strong growth, modest dividends, returns driven by market momentum. Fidelity NASDAQ Composite Index Fund, FNCMX, cranks growth up even higher. This is where innovation and tech dominate, but income becomes almost irrelevant. And when markets turn volatile, this one feels it hard. Then there's Fidelity U.S. Sustainability Index Fund, FITLX, and this is where things get interesting. FITLX still tracks the broader market, but it tilts toward companies that generate real cash, manage conservatively, and consistently return money to shareholders. The dividend yield is legitimate, dividend growth is meaningfully stronger, and price appreciation stays competitive. That combination matters. FITLX isn't trying to maximize income, and it's not chasing pure growth either. It deliberately sits right in the middle, and that's exactly why it makes sense to compare it directly to SCHD. What FitLTX actually does. FitLTX doesn't really click until you stop focusing on labels and start looking at behavior. Forget the word sustainability for a second, because what this fund actually does is pretty straightforward. Look at what it owns. Nearly 40% sits in technology, with another 11.7% in communication services and 11.2% in financials. These are growth-oriented sectors, which explains why FitLTX delivers strong price appreciation. But this isn't reckless growth at any cost. You also see meaningful positions in healthcare, consumer cyclicals, and industrials, which adds balance and staying power. Now check out the actual companies: Microsoft, Alphabet, Nvidia, Visa, MasterCard, Eli Lilly, Tesla. These are businesses with strong margins, pricing power, and consistent free cash flow. They're not dependent on perfect market conditions or cheap money to survive. They generate cash first, then decide how to use it. That philosophy shows up in the dividend behavior. FitLTX's current yield is modest at around 1.1%, so income isn't the upfront story.
But dividend growth runs about 15% annually, which reflects the caliber of companies inside. These businesses increase payouts because their cash flow is expanding, not because they're stretching to hit some arbitrary yield target. And growth? Not sacrificed at all. With average annual share price appreciation above 13% since inception, FitLTX keeps pace with the broader market. You're not giving up growth to get income. Growth still drives most of the return, while dividends quietly compound in the background. This creates flexibility. When markets rally, tech and communication stocks pull the portfolio higher. When markets stall, rising dividends and cash-rich balance sheets help cushion the ride. That's what FitLTX is built to do. Let growth and income rise together. How SCHD works differently. SCHD takes the complete opposite approach. Once you look inside, it's crystal clear. This fund has one priority, and that's dependable income. Everything else is secondary, and that focus is totally intentional. Look at the sector mix. Roughly 55% sits in defensive, cash-generating sectors, 18.9% energy, 18.1% healthcare, and 18.1% consumer defensive. These are industries known for stable demand and predictable earnings, not explosive growth. Technology? Only about 10% of the fund. That immediately tells you growth isn't the main event. The holdings confirm it. Merck, Cisco, Amgen, AbbVie, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, Chevron, ConocoPhillips. These are mature, established businesses with rock-solid market positions and consistent free cash flow. They're not reinvesting every dollar to chase expansion. They're built to return cash to shareholders. And that design shows up immediately in the dividend. SCHD's current yield sits around 3.75%, more than 3 times higher than FitLTX. That means income is real from day one, not something you wait decades to feel. Dividend growth is also strong, at roughly 10.6%, and it's steady and predictable. Here's the trade-off. With fewer high-growth sectors and fewer reinvestment-heavy companies, SCHD naturally sacrifices some long-term price appreciation. Average share price growth has been closer to 7.8%, well below growth-focused funds. But that's not a flaw, it's the cost of prioritizing income today. What you get in return is consistency. When markets swing wildly, dividends keep coming. When prices stall, cash flow doesn't disappear. For many investors, that visible income reduces emotional pressure and makes it way easier to stay invested through uncertainty. FitLTX uses growth to build income later. SCHD uses income to define the strategy from the start. Both work, but they solve completely different problems.
The real risk isn't volatility. When people talk about investment risk, they usually point to charts, percentages, and market crashes. But here's what I've learned. For most investors, the real risk isn't what the market does, it's what you do in response to it. Volatility is uncomfortable because it creates constant doubt. When your account value swings violently, it forces you to make emotional decisions. Should I stay in? Adjust? Bail completely? Even when a long-term math is solid, that emotional pressure pushes people into terrible timing decisions. Income changes that experience completely. With a fund like SCHD, dividends continue even when prices don't cooperate. A yield near 3.8% means cash flow keeps showing up regardless of short-term market chaos. That visible income acts as confirmation that the strategy is working, which makes it psychologically easier to stay patient. Growth strategies require a totally different mindset. With FitLex, most returns come from price appreciation, especially early on. Income exists, but at around 1.1%, it doesn't soften drawdowns much in real time. For investors comfortable with uncertainty, that's fine. For others, it becomes exhausting. Neither reaction is wrong. They're human. The problem starts when someone picks a strategy that doesn't match how they actually behave under stress. A portfolio that looks perfect on paper can completely fall apart if it constantly tempts you to panic and intervene. This is why behavior often matters more than expected returns.
A strategy you can actually stick with usually beats a theoretically better strategy you abandon at the worst possible moment. Taxes and efficiency. There's another layer that dramatically shapes long-term results, and it gets overlooked because it's not exciting. Taxes and efficiency. Taxes don't change returns on paper, but they absolutely change how much of those returns actually get to compound. In a taxable account, dividends are usually taxed the year you receive them. With SCHD yielding around 3.8%, a significant portion of returns shows up as taxable income every single year. If you're paying even 20 to 25% in combined taxes, that's cash leaving your portfolio annually instead of compounding. Fitlex behaves differently. With a yield closer to 1.1%, far less of the return gets taxed each year. Most growth comes from price appreciation, which typically gets deferred until you sell. That gives compounding way more room to work uninterrupted over decades. Where this really starts mattering is account type. In tax-advantaged accounts like IRAs or 401ks, this difference largely disappears. SCHD dividends can be reinvested without immediate tax drag, making income strategies far more efficient. In taxable accounts, the gap becomes very noticeable over 30 years. This doesn't make one fund better. It means the same fund can produce wildly different outcomes depending on where it's held. For this comparison, I'm assuming the investment sits inside a tax-advantaged account, like a traditional or Roth IRA, where dividends reinvest without immediate tax impact. That levels the playing field and lets both funds compound without annual tax friction. With taxes neutralized, the only thing left is performance over time. Now, projections finally make sense.
The 30-year projection. Let's run the numbers, not as promises or guarantees, but as a realistic visualization of how each strategy compounds when the same $100,000 is left alone. Fidelity path, starting dividend yield 1.1%, dividend growth rate 15.42%, average price appreciation 13.38%. This is a growth-driven engine where income acts as an accelerator rather than primary fuel. After 1 year, $114,477. After 10 years, $390,144. After 20 years, $1,558,441. After 30 years, $6,437,091. At year 30, annual dividend income projects to around $119,840, which translates to roughly $9,153 per month. Of that total $6.4 million, about $5.57 million comes from capital appreciation, while approximately $732,000 comes from reinvested dividends. SCHD path, starting dividend yield 3.82%, dividend growth rate 10.61%, average price appreciation 7.82%. Income drives results much earlier here. After 1 year, $111,640. After 10 years, $314,954. After 20 years, $1,120,352. After 30 years, $4,676,111. Annual dividends at year 30 project to around $340,515, which is approximately $28,376 per month. Of that $4.67 million total, roughly $2.38 million comes from capital appreciation and $2.19 million from dividend reinvestment. The trade-off is clear. Over 30 years, FitLX projects to about $6.4 million, while SCHD projects to about $4.67 million. That's roughly $1.6 million more in total portfolio value with FitLX, but income tells the opposite story. SCHD projects to generate about $28,376 per month, compared to $9,153 from FitLX. That's roughly $19,200 more per month, or over $230,000 more per year in actual spendable cash. So the choice becomes crystal clear in real numbers. If your priority is maximum portfolio value, FitLX wins. If your priority is maximum monthly income, SCHD wins. These numbers are incredible, but I know not everyone has $100,000 sitting around to invest right now. Here's the good news. There's actually an even easier way to reach a completely reasonable income goal using way less money. I've got another video showing exactly how to generate $7,000 per month starting with only $20 per week. The strategy is different, the timeline adjusts, but the principles stay exactly the same. Click the video on screen right now to see how it works. And if this breakdown helped clarify the growth versus income decision, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.